It doesn't mean a thing to you,
No.
the OPEC meeting, does it?
Nothing at all.
Why not?
Because our system is based on repeating patterns from the past. And the way it works is we don't look at things as the past is, okay, OPEC did this, OPEC did that. We look and see what interpretation of events investors are going to vote on vis-a-vis price. That's the only thing we look at in stocks, bonds, commodities, and currencies, and it's been pretty...
This is your cycle analysis,
Cycle analysis, from the Greek word circle.
Yes.
That's what cycles come from.
What's it telling us, then, your analysis, about the price of oil? Because it's been a good predictor of the price going back 5 or so years, hasn't it?
Let me give you a little background and then lead to now.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm a little older than you, I remember when crude was $10 a barrel. It got up to $147. And Dr. Charles Nenner, the founder of our company, at that time was on another station in New York and said we're going to have deflation. They laughed. 6 months later, at $147, crude was $49. So we have seen crude come down a lot. 6 or 7 months ago, when crude got to 97, we said it was going to head down into the mid-40s. No one listened. It went down to the mid-40s. And then we said it's going to come back up to the mid-60s, which it did now. We think longer term it's going to go back to where it was. We don't know why.
Back to where it was, as in above 100?
Yeah, around 100.
Really?
And we don't know why anything is. We just see the patterns from the past, and then you guys explain the reasons.
Why do the patterns from the past tell us so much?
It's a very deep question, right? But basically, we assume humans don't have freedom of choice. They're going to repeat in patterns. I'll give you an example. Let's take nat gas, which we also predict.
Yeah.
Years ago, nat gas was $12, and it went down to $6, and everyone thought it was going to go back up. It was before the fracking knowledge. You didn't know the word fracking until a few years ago. We said it was going to go towards $2 and go under. And then the Canadian banks made a lot of loans to Western Canada nat gas producing companies. Price went to $5.50, $5, $4.50, $4. The bankers looked and said, we have underwater loans, not just at homes, but with nat gas. They went and said to the nat gas companies, you've got to sell more to pay us back. Price went to $3.50, $3, and towards our price. And what did the newspapers and shows say? Bank forced selling caused the price to go down. And we say, cycles had topped, something's going to happen to make it go down. So we reverse the A implies B order, and it's really, we see where it's going to go, and then you guys explain what happened.
So you're telling us that oil is going to go back to sort of the 90 levels.
Yeah.
Does that mean it could revisit?
Oh, yeah, in the 40s? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Even lower?
No, we don't think so.
40s is it's going to be the low.
Sure. Listen, people forget it was $10.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
But that's not possible.
We don't see that, no. Because our system doesn't only take cycles into account, which only give you direction. It also has a factor called levels, target. People want to know, okay, it's going to go up. How long and when? Our clients are sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, family offices, investors. They just don't want to know it's going to go up. They need to know when to get out. And so we factor in the levels as well. So that's an important factor. So we don't think it's going to go back down anywhere near what some.
But the peak will be around 90. Well, we're not going back to 140s again, are we?
This we don't want to discuss yet.
Why not?
Because we like to take it one step at a time.
Okay. So initially 90.
But not next week. This is not happening next week. This is, a year or so.
And you don't look at, the rigs. You don't look at
any of that
Baker
stuff.
Hughes, OPEC, nothing. The pronouncements by Saudi Arabia. That must be quite refreshing.
We look at Bloomberg. Because we like you guys. We've been on for so long. As a matter of fact, on our site, I spoke at Bloomberg about 8 years ago explaining our whole system, which I recommend your viewers to watch. So, but we don't think the news affects things. We think the news comes along at a cycle top, which will cause something to go down, or at a cycle bottom, it'll cause something to go up, whether it's stocks, bonds, commodities, currencies, or
so are you essentially chartists, technical analysts? That's what you are.
We think, like, fundamental is PE, right? That's
yes.
We think our assumption that patterns repeat from the past, while it is technical in that you're putting math on it, it's quite fundamental, though. The whole idea that the past is governing the present is a very fundamental idea. We just put numbers to it. So people call it technical. Charles was at Goldman Sachs for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of people listen to him. So this is, our system is...
Well, it's been proven right.
Yeah,
in the last 5 years. I mean, the evidence is clear, isn't it?
Well, across the board, bonds.
Yeah.
Let's talk about bonds for a second, right? Let's take a global view. Let's go back the last 120 years. Let's take 1981, right? Rates were 18%, 17, and the Dow was 1,000. Today, rates are 2, and the Dow's 18,000. So they've both gone up. So if you did 2 trades and played golf, or in this country, cricket, or whatever you guys do, I'm from New York, right? I can't figure out cricket.
I'll explain it.
Oh, you will?
It'll take even longer than explaining your cycle analysis.
I've asked 10 people here. No one understands it. I play baseball, and I see a guy doing this. I don't understand what's going on with cricket, but I would like to know. Anyway, for 30 years, bonds have been up in value because rates have come down, and stocks have gone up. Now, if you did that same trade in 87, 94, 2000 and 2007, the bonds have continued up in value because rates have come down, but the stocks got beat up each time. So you can't always say stocks will go with bonds or against. So the people say cause and effect. We don't look at that. Go back 60 years, 1952, a little before I was born. Rates were 2%. So look what happened. 2% up to 18 down to 2. That's a 60-year cycle. Go back to 1890, rates were high. 1920, rates were high. 1890, rates were low. In 1860, Civil War in our country, our baby country, you guys have a lot more history, our baby country, rates were high. So that's a 60-year cycle you could see with rates. Therefore, over the next 30 years, we don't think anything can change it. Rates will go up.